The Nissan Skyline is a legend in the automotive world, known for its sleek design, impressive performance, and rich history. From its humble beginnings as a luxury car in the 1950s to its rise to fame as a performance icon in the 1970s and 80s, to its evolution into a more refined and technologically advanced sports car in the 1990s and beyond, the Skyline has undergone a number of significant changes over the years. Here, we'll take a closer look at the history of the evolution of the Nissan Skyline, exploring the key milestones and changes that have shaped this iconic vehicle. The Skyline has a long and storied history dating back to the 1950s. It all started in 1957 with the introduction of the first generation Skyline, known as the Prince Skyline. Developed by the Prince Motor Company, which later merged with Nissan, the Skyline was initially marketed as a luxury car in Japan. During this early period, the Skyline was powered by a range of inline 4 and 6-cylinder engines, and was available in both sedan and coupe body styles. It was praised for its smooth ride, comfortable interior, and advanced features for its time, such as automatic transmission and power steering. While the Skyline was a popular choice amongst Japanese consumers, it didn't yet have the performance credentials or international recognition that it would later become known for. That would change in the following decades as the Skyline evolved and became a performance icon. The year 1969 marked a major turning point in the history of the Nissan Skyline. It was in this year that the Skyline GTR was introduced, setting the stage for the Skyline's rise to fame as a performance car. The 1969 PGC-10 sedan was available in a coupe body style as of March 1971 with the chassis code of KPGC-10, later affectionately coined Hakosuka, which combines the Japanese word for box, Hako, and the pronounced abbreviation of Skyline, Suka. Developed by Nissan's Motors division, the GTR was designed to be a high-performance version of the standard Skyline. It was powered by the S20 engine, a dual overhead cam, 2.0-liter inline-6 rated at 960 horsepower at 7,000 RPM, and 130 foot-pounds of torque at 5,600 RPM. Power was delivered to the rear wheels through a limited slip differential, which was paired with a 5-speed manual transmission. Four-wheeled independent suspension paired with a braking system that consisted of disc brakes at the front and drum brakes at the rear. The interior of the car was simple and minimalistic, featuring racing bucket seats and 3-spoke steering wheel along with wood inserts. Total weight for the vehicle was 1,100 kilograms, or 2,425 pounds. This setup allowed the GTR to deliver impressive acceleration, handling, and overall driving performance. The Skyline GTR quickly gained a reputation as a high-performance vehicle, and it became a popular choice amongst car enthusiasts in Japan and around the world. Its success would lay the foundation for the Skyline's future as a performance icon, as these features helped to make the GTR a formidable force on the road and on the racetrack. The KPGC-10 successor, the KPGC-110, was introduced in 1973 after its introduction at the 1972 Tokyo Motor Show. This model received 4-wheel disc brakes and retained the semi-trailing arm setup from the previous model. Minor aerodynamic parts were added to the exterior. This model of the GTR was known as the Ken-Mary Skyline due to a popular advertisement featuring a young couple, Ken and Mary, enjoying the Hokkaido countryside. By the late 1970s, the fuel crisis and heightened emission and fuel consumption restrictions on auto manufacturing had nearly silenced the GTR's namesake, It would not be until 1989 when the GTR would return. The 1973 Skyline 2000 GT, chassis code HGC210, which was the fifth generation Skyline, was launched in 1977. It was popular for its straight body lines. The C211 was introduced in 1980 following a minor change. Three versions of the 2000 GT were available: a Turbo GTE, a GTE, and the GT. Despite the absence of the GTR namesake, the Skyline's performance credentials continued to grow, with the R30 offered from 1980 to 1982 and the R31 offered from 1983 through 1988 in various trims. The 1981 Skyline HT Turbo 2000 GTES, chassis code KHR30, was the sixth generation Skyline, known as Type R30. This was launched in August of 1981. The 4- and 6-cylinder models used bodies with the same nose length. A 5-door hatchback was also launched, while the estate wagon was discontinued. The 1982 Skyline 2000 GTEX, chassis code HR30. The GTEX, top of the line in the GT series, was powered by a 6-cylinder 1.998cc L engine, single overhead cam equipped with an electronic fuel injection system. Among the GTEX's standard features were a driver's seat with 40mm stepless adjustment, variable power steering that automatically adjusts to suit the engine RPM, and a tilting telescopic steering column. The R30 brought back the dual overhead cam engine, discontinued since the C110 4th generation model, and effectively integrated two body types: the long nose body previously used with the 6-cylinder engine and the short nose body of the 4-cylinder engine model. 5 engines were available at launch: the L20E, the L20ET Turbo, the Z20, and the Z18. Last but not least, the LD 2.8 Diesel. However, on October 21, 1981, 2 months after the R30 was launched, the RS model was launched, equipped with the FJ20, a newly developed 4-cylinder engine in 1.990 cc's. This FJ20 was a high-performance dual overhead cam engine with its 4-valve design and pent-root combustion chamber. Common on racing car engines, it delivered a maximum output of 150 horsepower at 6,000 RPM. The Turbo RS with a turbocharged FJ20 engine made a debut in 1983 with a max power output of 190 horsepower, which was the highest of all Skyline cars in previous generations. Although its sales copy was "most powerful Skyline ever," it didn't proclaim itself as a GTR. The 1984 Skyline 2000 Turbo RS with intercooler, chassis code DR30, underwent a minor change in 1983 to have a unique front mask without a front grille, and was called the Iron Mask. Turbo RS became Turbo Intercooler RS, with the output of 205 horsepower in 1984. The 1984 Skyline 2000 GTSR, chassis code KHR31, was the 7th generation Skyline, launched in August of 1985. This model is well remembered as being the first to reintroduce the 6-cylinder dual overhead cam engine, discontinued with the C110. In May of 1986, the Coupe GTS appeared, and in August 1987, after a minor change, the Coupe GTS-R with the RB20 DET-R rated at 210 horsepower. Based on a Group A race specification, this car was sold as a limited edition in only 800 units. In 1987, the GTSR was offered as a base model for Group A touring cars. The long-awaited two-door coupe was added in 1986. The GTSR won the title at Japan Touring Car Championships, JTC, in 1989. As a result of these and other notable victories, the Skyline's reputation as a performance car reached new heights during this period, and it became a highly coveted vehicle amongst car enthusiasts around the world. modern era, 1990s through present, the return of the new GTR. The 8th generation Skyline R32 was rolled out in May of 1989. 3 months later, the GTR was brought back after a 16-year absence. The engine was a specially designed RB26 DETT, a 2.6-liter inline-six dual overhead cam twin-turbo motor, and generated a maximum power of 280 horsepower. The drive system was called a Tesla ETS that electronically controlled the torque split of the four-wheel drive drivetrain and transmitted the best torque to all the wheels using an ECU to manage the distribution of torque between the front and rear wheels in real time based on various factors such as road conditions, vehicle speed, and steering angle. This allows the vehicle to maintain traction and control under a variety of driving conditions. Paired with a four-wheel drive multi-link suspension, this equipment realized one of the best performances all over the world as a sedan-based sports car. The GTR has a record of amazing 29 victories and in no defeat for 4 seasons at Japan Touring Car Championship from 1990 through 1993. It also received a high reputation at overseas races like the Spa-Francorchamps 24 Hours. The Nissan Skyline GTR R32 was offered with 2 engine options, the RB20 DET and the RB26 DETT. The RB20 DET is a 2-liter inline-six engine that was used in the Skyline GTR and other Nissan models. It features a single turbocharger and was rated at 276 horsepower. The RB26 is a 2.6-liter inline-six with a horsepower rating of 276 horsepower at 6,800 RPM and 260 foot-pounds of torque at 4,400 RPM. This engine was used specifically in the GTR lineup. The R33 Skyline, released in 1993, marked the 3rd iteration of the iconic GTR namesake. Building on the success of the R32, the R33 brought a range of new features and enhancements to the table. One of the most notable changes with the R33 was the introduction of a new engine. The lineup consisted of a RB25 DET, a 2.5-liter inline-six featuring a single turbocharger and was rated at about 280 horsepower. The RB26, 2.6-liter inline-six with twin turbos, was rated at 280 horsepower. In terms of design, the R33 featured a more refined and sophisticated look compared to its predecessor. The body was more aerodynamic, with a sloping hood and smooth lines that gave a sleek and sporty appearance. The 4-door sedan body style, which added even more versatility to the Skyline lineup. Inside the R33 was just as impressive, with a high-quality interior that featured premium materials and advanced technology. It came standard with features such as power windows and locks, as well as a CD player and air conditioning. Higher trim levels added even more luxury features, such as leather seats and a sunroof. Overall, the R33 Nissan Skyline was a significant step forward for the iconic sports car, bringing a range of new features and refinements that solidified its reputation as a top performer on both the road and track. The 1999 R34 Nissan Skyline. Released in 1999, the R34 generation of the Skyline marked the 4th and final iteration of the iconic GTR. Building on the success of the R33, the R34 brought a range of new features and enhancements to the table. One of the most notable changes with the R34 was the RB26 engine. It still features a twin-turbo design and was rated at 280 horsepower. However, it's capable of producing significantly more with power modifications. Known for its high power output and durability, it was commonly used in high-performance applications such as racing and drifting. It featured an advanced ignition system and a lightweight design, which helped it to produce impressive power figures. In terms of design, the R34 featured a more aggressive and sportier look compared to its predecessor. The body was yet more aerodynamic, with sharp lines and a wide stance that gave it a commanding presence on the road. The R34's interior was equally impressive, with high quality featuring premium materials and advanced technology. Standard features such as power windows and locks, CD player, and air conditioning. The R34 Skyline was a significant step forward for the GTR, bringing a new range of features and refinements that solidified its reputation as the top performer on both the road and track. It remains a popular choice amongst driving enthusiasts around the world, and its legacy as a Japanese automotive icon lives on. Overall, the Skyline of the modern era has transformed from a raw and powerful sports car into a more refined and technologically advanced machine. It remains a popular choice amongst driving enthusiasts around the world, and its legacy as a Japanese automotive icon lives on. The V35 chassis, more affectionately known as the 350Z, 370Z, or Infiniti G35 or G37. The V35 was a complete departure from the previous Skyline models as it was designed with the American market in mind. It was a sleek and stylish four-door sedan that was aimed at providing a balance of luxury and performance. Under the hood of the V35 was a 3.5-liter VQ35 engine, capable of 280 horsepower and 270 foot-pounds of torque. This made it one of the most powerful four-door sedans produced for its time. The engine was paired with a 5-speed automatic transmission that offered quick and responsive shifts, providing drivers with a smooth and enjoyable driving experience. Additionally, the V35 all-wheel drive system allowed for superior traction and handling in all driving conditions. The V35 was actually more of a testbed for the R35 Skyline of today, mainly the drivetrain and the VQ35 engine that went through a range of changes in its time span, mainly in the V35 chassis. The VQ series engine was offered from a range of 2 liters up to 4 liters in many sedans and trucks in the Nissan lineup. It's still currently one of their mass-produced engines. The Skyline R35 has a VR38 engine, which is a modified version of the VQ series motor. Over the life of the V35 chassis, the VQ35 evolved as a more powerful engine, adding variable valve timing, direct injection, and variable valve lift. This brought the power from the initial 280 horsepower offered in the initial G35 and 350Z up to an astounding 350 horsepower offered in the 3.7 liter models. I might also add that 350 horsepower is naturally aspirated. That's available on a particular Nismo version. There are versions that have been reported to make over 400 wheel horsepower naturally aspirated, however. This technology fused together over time the new Fairlady Z will also have a VR30 engine, which is a smaller, slightly modified version of the VR38 and the R35 Skyline. The V35 was offered as the Infiniti in the United States, but it's the only vehicle that in Japan has been named the Skyline, but sold in the United States until the R35 Skyline's arrival. The newer model between the R34 and R35 Skyline obviously being the Q50 and Q60 chassis now. Not only was the V35 responsible for the R35's presence, it's also responsible for the Fairlady Z, as there are many parts used between the chassis. The R35 GTR. The GTR R35 is a sports car that was produced by Nissan starting in 2007. It's powered by a 3.8-liter V6 engine called the VR38 DETT, which featured a twin-turbo design and advanced ignition system. The VR38 DETT is capable of producing impressive power figures and is known for its high performance and durability. The R35 is a high-performance sports car that has a reputation for being fast and agile. It features a sophisticated all-wheel drive system, dual-clutch transmission, a lightweight body, which all contribute to its impressive handling and acceleration. It is one of the few, if not the only, supercars that can be driven year-round. The Skyline GTR is a true icon of the automotive world, with a rich and storied history that spans over 50 years. From its humble beginnings As a sedan in the late 1960s, the Skyline has evolved into a high-performance sports car that is respected and admired by driving enthusiasts around the world. Throughout its various generations, the Skyline has always been at the forefront of automotive technology, featuring advanced engines, suspension systems, electronic systems, all that have helped it establish a reputation as a top performer on the road and track. It has also undergone several styling changes, evolving from a simple and unassuming sedan into a sleek and aggressive sports car that exudes power and sophistication. In conclusion, the Nissan Skyline is more than just a car. It is a symbol of innovation, performance, and style. Its legacy as a Japanese automotive icon will continue to live on for generations.